talk about doing some retouching in Lightroom. For one of your photos, you're going to need to, at least one, you're going to need to use Photoshop to do skin retouching and clone stamping or spot healing. But if your other photos are lighter on the retouching needs, you can do them in Lightroom. So first thing, the things that I'm going to talk about are softening skin, fixing redness in skin, little things like that. So first thing I want to do is make sure I'm on develop. And then I'm going to zoom in a little bit on her face. It's a little bit too much. So I can see a little bit better what I do want to retouch. The retouching I'm going to do are with the adjustment brushes, which we've already learned. And I would do these after you've done your overall edits. So for example, like if I want the photo warm, cool, but maybe her skin is too red in spots. So we're going to go to the adjustment brush, and that's this one right here where my mouse is on the right. The keyboard shortcut for it is K. Okay, to remind you, you can reset all these settings by double-clicking Effect. And then you have two things you need to choose. You need to choose the edit, and then you also need to choose your brush here. So for example, if I first want to deal with like the redness on some patches of her skin, I might decrease the tint and I might decrease the saturation. I'm just guessing some numbers and seeing if those are going to work. And then I want to choose a brush that I'm going to be able to easily paint in on these areas. So this is a pretty good size for me. Feather I want to probably have pretty low. I'm going to put it around 25 in my case. Actually, I want to have a little bit higher, maybe like 50. And then we'll readjust if that doesn't look good. Flow, I'm going to put it at 100 and density at 100, but you can decrease these if you want it to be more gradual. Okay, then I'm just going to start painting on the little patches, and those are pretty good guesses. So there's some redness here, there's some redness here, and then some redness up in here. Okay, but if you see the redness up here, that's getting too red, so I'm going to go back, or too non-colored. So if you do have different areas that need different amounts of brushing, you could decrease your flow, or you could do another one. So I'm going to decrease my flow and then do the redness on her forehead. Okay. So once I put it down, if it still needs a little bit more, I can play with my settings still. Just don't want to make her look ashen. I want to make sure it looks natural. And then I'm going to zoom back out. And that looks much, much, much better. Okay, so that was for redness. Okay, now I'm going to zoom back in. And this time I'm going to do softening of her skin overall. So for skin softening, you want skin to look smoother, but you still want people to have pores. Again, this is going to be an adjustment brush. I'm going to zero out. Okay. And then for smoothing skin, what I like to do is decrease clarity and then also decrease sharpness some. Okay, then I'm just going to start painting in. Just a couple little small little pimples that I can deal with in Photoshop. I could also use the spot removal, but I'm going to be honest, Photoshop is way better for that kind of thing. This all in, and notice I'm avoiding areas like her eyes. I can do under her eyes, but I want to do her actual eyes, eyebrows, stuff like that. And then remember, I can click this right here to turn it on so I can see the mask overlay or the path of what I've painted. I do want this to be even on her skin. I'm not going to go too close to the edge. That could cause a problem. And also don't forget with the adjustment brush in Lightroom, if you make a mistake, you can switch to the erase brush here. You can also do that by holding down your option key, and then you can erase an area. Okay, so I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to zoom back out, and I'm going to make sure that it looks natural from a distance, which it does. Okay. If it was too soft, which, let me show you an example of that. This one? No, it's this one. If I made it too soft, she would have no texture in her skin at all. You see this kind of weirdness happening. So that would definitely be too soft. So I'm going to back up there. And now that I'm seeing it, I'm actually going to smooth this out too. So there's a weird jump there. Okay, so that is using Lightroom for light retouching, and that is going to be with the adjustment brush. You can do the color adjustments with temperature, tint, saturation, and you can also do smoothing of skin with clarity and sharpness.